right, yeah. Thanks again for welcoming me. For those who don't know, my name is Charles Brown. I'm with the United Electrical Radio and Machine Workers Union, which is based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but I'm the project staff organizer here in Virginia, working on the Virginia Beach Workers Campaign. And yeah, just for some background, so the campaign started in, I would say, yeah, August of last year. So August of 2020, the Virginia Beach sanitation workers actually went on a strike, and they were able to get some feedback from the city. The city manager actually came out and spoke to them and made some promises. So around that time is when we got involved. And since then, we've been talking to workers in different departments, mainly public works and public utilities, about getting organized. Some further background: last year in March of 2020, the Virginia General Assembly passed a bill which basically amended Virginia's right to work law to where it doesn't nullify to get rid of it. It makes it where localities have the ability to vote in collective bargaining through the city council, meaning if the city council agrees to have their well, they have to vote it in, and then it would give public city employees the option to bargain directly with the city through the city manager. But of course, that's it's not the easiest process because you got to look at the dynamics of each city. To my knowledge, the only city in our area, in the Hampton Roads area, that's done this so far is Portsmouth. So we're looking to do this in Virginia Beach, and of course, there's political dynamics. Virginia Beach tends to be more conservative, but fortunately, we're not the only, public utilities, public works, Parks and Rec, human resources. Those aren't the only departments that fall under city workers. Of course, you have fire department and the police who also fall under that. So pretty much anything we're doing, it will be covering them. But of course, they already have their own union. So of course, we definitely want the workers who don't have a union to have a union home and to be able to be organized and be recognized formally. So that kind of brings us to where we are now. We have a majority in about 4 departments so far. Sewer collection, which pretty much if you live in the city of Virginia Beach, they're the people who, if you flush your toilet, if you're washing dishes, if you're doing anything that deals with your septic system, these are the workers who make sure that that keeps and that's up and running. Then you have the folks in mosquito control. So they're the ones who make sure that we don't have bugs running around, particularly in your city. If you live in Virginia Beach, making sure that the bugs and all that is under control. Highways and stormwater, so making sure that the roads are clear, the highways are clear, that you don't have a bunch of flooding on highways within the city limits. And then there's another department that's right on tip of my tongue. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I know we have 4 total that we have a majority of folks sign up in. And the workers are pumped. And surprisingly, right now, we don't have a whole bunch of anti-union rhetoric as far as coming from the city yet, but we'll see how that goes. But our main thing is just to push the message that these are essential workers and they deserve respect and they deserve to be treated with such, and having the pay and to be able to organize and bargain. So let me see. We're the only ones on here. So I was kind of anticipating maybe having questions and whatnot. Does anyone have any questions before I continue?
Charles, this is Tina.
Hey.
Are you organizing? You mentioned Virginia Beach, but what other cities are you organizing in right now? Are there other ones?
Right now, that's our focus. We actually are considering coming to Newport News, and Norfolk. Currently, Virginia Beach is our focus. We were looking at Norfolk, but there's another union called ASME that's also on the ground. So we've kind of been sharing turf, making sure that we're respecting each each other's boundaries, because at the end of the day, it's about getting the workers organized and making sure they have some representation. So we're not the only ones in town, but we where we're at, we've been getting workers organized. So no, to answer your question, we have Virginia Beach. That's where we're mainly at right now in Virginia, as far as for this campaign. And we are looking at other cities. Right now, we're getting some stuff started up in in Newport News, but we don't have anything set in stone there yet. So yeah, Virginia Beach is our only spot as of right this minute.
So is that to where it's just so you mentioned Acme. So are they actively organizing in Norfolk right now? Or is that like a possibility in future and you don't want to sort of tread on their turf?
No, they're already there. So they've been there, and so yeah, we're just not treading on their turf, because they're in Norfolk. So unless they pull out or whatever, we're respecting their turf for the time being. There is a possibility of us coming to Chesapeake, and maybe the other cities, but just being frank, because of resources and things of that nature, we're kind of trying to concentrate one city at a time for the time being. Because one of the things we definitely need help with is, volunteers, because just, running a union is it's run by the workers, of course. And, the workers are who make the union once it's actually up and running. Our job is really, the union's job is to make sure they have the resources just such as arbitration support. So, i.e. attorneys. So if anything happens, they can have some legal support, and have nobody where they can negotiate with the city. So that's where a lot of our funds go. So yeah, to answer your question, we're kind of focused on the one city at a time approach right now, just trying to really get strong over here in Virginia Beach, and then look at the other cities. But we have been mapping it out. But yeah, right now it's us in Virginia Beach, and then ASME is in Norfolk, and I'm not sure what other cities they're in right now.
Tina Stack.
Go ahead, Tina.
Okay. I also was wondering, Charles, how specifically can the Hampton Roads Green Party help with your organizing? And is there something that the Greater Green Party of Virginia could also do?
So I'm glad you asked. So this Thursday, we just set this up last week. So we're actually having a community call. Matter of fact, I'm not sure if you got the email. I had sent it to you, Tina, but it might have bounced back. I'll check. But we're actually having a community call with all the groups or a bunch of groups, if you will, in Virginia Beach and the surrounding area. So if we didn't, the Greens didn't get it, I'll make sure I re-forward that. But yeah, we're getting the input, and our approach is two-pronged. So we definitely want to, we're looking at writing letters to the Virginia Beach City Council to ask them to vote in collective bargaining for city workers. So that would be in the form of a letter writing campaign. The other thing we're looking to do, though, and this would be simultaneous, is possibly do video. Well, not possibly do. We want to do videos of support to the workers. So for anyone who lives in the city of Virginia Beach, you'll go, for example, like my name is. Is anyone on this call in Virginia Beach, or is everyone in Chesapeake?
We're in Norfolk now, Charles.
Okay, got you. So yeah, if we had anyone in Virginia Beach, they would just say, "Hey, my name is." Like I would say, my name is Charles. I live in the Princess Anne section of Virginia Beach, and the reason I'm supporting Virginia Beach city workers because they're essential personnel, and they deserve to be treated with the same rights and respect as any other workers. They're out on the front line. Please support them and support collective bargaining, something along those lines. So really short videos, and we're doing that because we want, we'd be sending those to the workers mainly because we're not just building up political support. We want the workers to know that they have community support behind them. And you mentioned Bessemer, and that's one of the things that's really helped that campaign get off the ground the way it has is because they have so much community support, nationally and locally. So that's kind of the approach that we're taking now. We want to really have that strong local support behind them so that they know that it's not just them out there on their own trying to organize this, that there are groups in the area that support them. And also letting the city council know that we support the city workers as well. And not just the ones that they would normally think of, because we know police and fire department and fire have traditionally have a more conservative base anyway, and they don't necessarily need as much help, but they're the ones that more than likely get the biggest chunk of the budget. And we're not trying to fight, we just try to make sure that the workers in these other departments that generally get looked over are included in that process, that they get a piece of that pie, which they're entitled to. So that's really our approach, is making sure that they know that the public is backing them, backing all the workers, and that way they have a fair shake. So yeah, that's really our approach at this point. So as far as the Green Party, if we have anybody in Virginia Beach or any supporters, just getting them to support in that way. And also we're going to be doing a letter, so for folks who don't live in the city of Virginia Beach, like I don't live in Virginia Beach, I was just using that as an example. I actually live in Hampton. So like we would say something like, hi, my name is Charles, I'm with the Hampton Roads Green Party or whoever, and we're supporting this because like our members around the state and as well as in the city of Virginia Beach, we want to see all workers have support, something along those lines. So anyone who's willing to write letters, mainly, folks who live in the city, but also folks who represent organizations who have a presence around the state. So getting to your question as far as the statewide Green Party, yeah, since we have a statewide presence, I don't think it can hurt, to have the Greens saying, hey, we support this, we have members around the state, and this a fair wages issue, human rights issue. So that's really our approach at this point. Some of the groups that we've reached out to so far, besides the Greens, we have the Green New Deal Coalition, the Hampton Roads Green Party, obviously, and the Poor People's Campaign, the Hampton Roads Poor People's Campaign. Those are just some of the really big ones that we have, especially the Poor People's Campaign, as you all know, with Reverend Barber being connected to the Fight for 15. And matter of fact, he's heavily connected to the Bessemer fight as well. Matter of fact, I believe he's down there as we speak. And I think they're heading up to Alabama. No, not Alabama. They're heading up to West Virginia. If not today, then tomorrow. So really getting as many of the local groups together that, fight on these issues on it as possible. So again, that the workers know that they got the support, but also know that, let the city council know that we're paying attention and letting them know they need to vote the right way.
What was
great.
the first group you mentioned, Charles? You mentioned Poor People's Campaign, Hampton Roads Green Party. There was one other. I didn't catch it.
Oh, the Virginia Green New Deal Coalition.
Okay, thank you.
Tina
Yep.
Stack.
Yep.
Okay, so thanks for that, Charles. Can you at this point and then at the end again, tell people the name of your group and how to contact you and your group?
Yeah, so it is, I'm with the UE, or the United Electrical Radio Machine Workers Union. My number, so I'll give my number. My number is area code 757-842-3000. You can contact me via email by Charles Brown. My name, Charles Brown 1987 at Gmail. That's my personal email, personal number. You call that or you email that email address, you'll reach me. Yeah, you have any questions, feel free to reach out.
Great. Tina again. You ready
Yep.
for another question?
Go ahead.
The Virginia being a right to work state, tell me how this works with that situation here with you organizing. Is there some something that's happened that allows you to be able to organize, or how will you get away from that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so as I was saying in the beginning, so last year the General Assembly passed a law that makes it where localities have the ability to vote in collective bargaining, but it has to be on a city by city. It has to be on a local by local basis. So it doesn't overturn right to work. It just makes it where because on the right to work really just says that you can't be forced to join a union. That's really the overall basis of right to work. So it makes it where instead of having to opt out, you would have to opt in. That's kind of how right to work works. So this doesn't overturn that. It just makes it where public employees have the option to collectively bargain, which before this law, which goes in, and by the way, this law actually goes into effect officially May 1st of this year, 2021. So prior to this bill passing, we've had unions in the state, different jobs, they have associations, but they technically couldn't officially bargain with the municipality in which they work or do business, if you will. So like the police association, right? Fraternal Order Police or the Firefighters Associations, they operate like unions, but technically, up until this point, they weren't able to actually bargain officially with the city, right? So in some cases, you might have MOUs, memorandums of understanding, but that's not an official contract. So what this new law does is it actually allows for public employees to actually have public contracts with the cities, with the cities or the counties, municipality in which they again do business. But the way it operates is, again, the governing bodies, so that city council or county commissioners, depending on if you're in a city or county, have to actually vote that in. Which is why we're asking people, to write letters of support to the city council, in this case for the city council of Virginia Beach, because once they vote that in, then the city manager of, in this case, the city of Virginia Beach, will have to actually meet with us or meet with the union, the workers directly, and actually bargain with them. Whereas currently they don't have to do that. Currently they don't really have to talk to them about their wages at all, for real. Like I said, you have some jobs, like I said, like the police, for example, who have a lot of weight, so they can kind of, push their political and social capital and kind of get what they want with the city councils around the state and city managers. But again, that's mainly just because they have enough social clout to do that. But there's nothing legally that really gives them the ability to do that. So yeah, this law would actually put us on the same footing to where we can actually legally, city workers or county workers would have the ability to legally negotiate and bargain directly with their local governments. So the only impediment is that it has to be voted in. It's not like it's a blanket. It's not just it's not a blanket resolution. It's not like a law that makes it where that's automatic. Which is one of the things I had an issue with when the law originally passed. I was like, I didn't think it was the strongest, but it's a step forward. So does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you so much. That does clarify that. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
So we've talked
Charles,
a lot about.
Sorry, go ahead, Blazin. I'll just ask Charles to put your information in our Hampton Roads Green Party Allies group, would you, Charles? So we can put it, post it in with the video when we post it on social media.
Sure, I can do that.
Great. Okay, go ahead, Blazin.
So we've talked a lot about right to work. So if you're successful here in Virginia Beach, what do you think that means for local union organizing in for local municipalities in the Hampton Roads area, but also for pushing back against right to work and ultimately repealing it if this is a success in Hampton Roads?
Well, to be straightforward, it kind of depends on, one of the things we're looking at is how it's implemented, because we definitely want them to trying to figure out how to answer it the most honest. So we definitely want them to implement collective bargaining, and I think it's about how they write it, and that's also one of the things that we're trying to make sure that we're clear on as they vote on this, because we want to make sure that we're included, and that they actually write it in a way that's equitable, and that's not shady, if you will, right? So that's a bridge that we'll come to once we get there. But to answer your question, like I said, Portsmouth has already voted on it. I'm not sure what their organizing efforts are looking like over there. But as far as with Virginia Beach, I think it would be huge, just considering the fact that Virginia Beach is one of the most conservative big cities in the state of Virginia. As far as cities that have a considerable size, they have tended to lean conservative. Now that is changing, but yeah, so I think it will definitely have an impact, and I think it'll definitely make organizing a little easier, especially in the cities where the demographics favor it. So yeah, I think the impact is going to be positive. But one of the things, again, we want to make sure is that when we get to the point where we're actually doing the resolution, they actually agree to have it, to agree to collective bargaining. Then we'll be at the point where we want to make sure that it's written in the most equitable way. We don't want to have it written in a way that where they add poison pills in there, if you will. So that's the process where we'll kind of be watching it as we go. But yeah, it's definitely going to have. I definitely believe it's going to have a positive impact on the area in general.
Tina Stack,
Yep.
do you have a social media page or Twitter or anything yet, Charles?
Not for the UE. I don't. Not for this campaign. That is something we've been looking to set up, but no. I don't think we've set one up for that yet.
Okay, when you do, let us know.
Will do. And again, anybody watching, if you're seeing this before Thursday, April 1st of 2021, and you live in Virginia Beach or the surrounding area, yeah, feel free to join our call. I guess I can put that in the info for that in the chat once we upload this.
That would be great.
Yeah, and if any of you on the call can be there, yeah, please feel free to attend. Yeah, Blazing, I don't think I have your email, but I'll connect with y'all offline about that.
So I know earlier you were talking about making videos for residents of Virginia Beach, but it just came across my mind. What about people who don't live in Virginia Beach but who work in Virginia Beach?
That's what I was saying. So like, it would be, we want people who live there, but as well as folks who like have a presence. So like, if you're with a group that's supporting the efforts, then we want those folks to do the videos as well. So like, for example, everyone on here being that you're with the Green Party and we have a statewide presence, then yeah, definitely you probably do something like you say, like, my name is Blazing. I'm with the Hampton Roads Green Party, and we support the worker, and yeah, we support the workers in Virginia Beach organizing for better pay and better treatment. As a statewide and local group, we believe workers everywhere deserve fair and equitable treatment, especially in Virginia Beach, something like that, 20 to 30 seconds at most. So yeah, it would be for the people who live in the city, but as well as folks a part of groups who want to support as well. So, we're just looking at it from the standpoint that we definitely want that outside support, but we also want to emphasize that folks who actually live in the city, who, you know, pay taxes there, are supporting it, because we know that that's how a lot of these lawmakers think. You know, if when they get letters, you know, because they're constantly getting letters and different petitions and things for all types of issues. And one of the things we know that a lot of times they look at is where do people live when they're getting these letters. Like they want to know, okay, is this someone that can actually vote me in or out of office? So that's part of why we have a emphasis on them, a good amount of them coming from people who live there. But we do want to have the community, you know, folks who don't live in the area. We definitely welcome the letters from those folks as well. Just from a strategy standpoint, we know that a lot of times, and just speaking frankly also, with it being conservative, we want to balance it out. So we definitely want to have letters from like the Greens and these other groups. But we know a lot of conservative members may look at that and just think, well, you got these outside groups. So yeah, having as many local Virginia Beach residents, it definitely helps, because then you can't deny, you know, it's like, well, these are people who actually live in the city. And, you know, just looking at it from a legislator's point of view, it definitely puts them, they actually have to pay attention to it more, because they know these are people that live in the city. And the way Virginia Beach is set up is, even if you don't live in a particular precinct, everyone runs citywide. So you still end up voting for that person. So the councilmen still have to pay attention. You know, if they see Virginia Beach, they're more likely to pay attention to it. Whereas in a city like Norfolk, to my understanding, they have wards. So if you vote based on the ward you live in. And I think they have like 2 at-large seats, and then they have like, I believe, Tina, correct me if I'm wrong, I think y'all have like 2 at-large, and then you have 6 or 7 wards plus the mayor and the vice mayor. But if you don't live in that ward, like, you can't necessarily pressure someone who doesn't live in your ward. That's how Norfolk is. Whereas in Virginia Beach, if you live anywhere in Virginia Beach, they're more than likely on listen. So that's why our strategy is the way it is. So yeah, if someone lives outside Virginia Beach, or if they work in Virginia Beach, but they're part of a group that does work in the general area, which would include Virginia Beach, we're crafting template letters for them to just include their name and the group they're with, which will cover that. So I don't know, does that answer your question?
Well, I was like, if you commute to Virginia Beach and you have an office job there, like that's where you derive your revenue from. For example, my mother Stephanie, like,
Yeah.
could she do a video and say, she may not be a resident of Virginia Beach, but as an employee of a business in Virginia Beach?
Yeah, sure. We haven't developed a template for that, but yeah, I wouldn't see why. Most definitely. I should say I don't see why not. So yeah, I definitely think that would be a good idea. That hasn't been the focus, but no, I definitely think if we get a good amount of people who actually work in the city, who want to show their support, then yeah, I think, yeah, we definitely welcome that.
Tina Stack again.
All right.
There's a group on Facebook called Virginia Politics, Charles, that I'll put in the, either email to you or put in the Hampton Roads Green Party Allies group, a link to their Facebook page. I think they tend to lean libertarian and conservative, but I know that there are some other folks that I see chime in on there. So I don't know how successful you'd be in putting that in there, but you never know who's listening. So I didn't know if you had thought about maybe finding Virginia Beach political groups like that and posting your information in there.
I haven't. I didn't even know about them until now. So yeah, sure. You send that to me. I can reach out to them.
That would be good. I know HRGP has, posted a couple of events in there or whatever, and we get some pushback, but not, because of a lot of things. If you want clean air to breathe and water to drink and food to eat, we have a lot of issues that overlap with most people. So we try to reach out to different groups too.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, I think I'll be happy to reach out to them. So yeah, if you have their contact, send it to me and I'll reach out to them on my end.
So the localities are able to begin getting that collective bargaining in May, and we've talked a lot about how we can get there. But is there any established time frame for, between now and when there might be a vote on that legislation from the Virginia Beach City Council, and do we have any idea of that sort of time frame?
Not really. I mean, we're speculating at this point. There's possibility of them introducing a resolution next month, but we really don't know at this point. So our whole thing is we want to make sure that one reason, we're continuing to organize because we still want to make sure things are in place if and when we'll say when they decide to bring the measure forward. But we don't have any concrete timetable in place yet.
Okay, did something happen to your volume, Charles, or was it just my headphone?
Yeah, your microphone kind of went weird.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, you're good now.
There you go.
Yeah, no, I was just saying. So I'll just repeat. So no, I was saying that there's no concrete timetable.
It's happening again. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the thing with your microphone's happening again.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
So no clear timetable yet.
Great.
Are teachers included in this campaign, or are they a separate type situation?
They're separate, and we reached out to them, but they have not reached yet. So they're doing their own thing.
Got it.
So that's Tina again. Charles, do you know that the teachers are also trying to organize as well, or you don't know what they're up to at this point?
I'm not sure. And my understanding is the teachers are employed by the school system. So I'm not even exactly sure how that process works for them. I think it's a slightly different process. I don't think they necessarily want to negotiate directly with the city anyway. So to answer your question, they have a slightly different process from what we're doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks. Tell us when your meeting's going to be again, Charles.
Yeah, so it's going to be this Thursday, April 1st at 6 p.m.
Okay, and you're going to put all the information in the links when we post this so that people can find you.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, I'll put the link for the meeting and my contact in there.
Great.
And we're posting this to the page, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Post this to local, and this might also get shared in the state socials as well.
All right. Great.
Any other
questions?
That's what I was going to say. I think that's great. You covered a lot, and this is great that you're doing this, Charles, and we're behind you. We'll get your information and see what we can do to help. Hopefully putting your information on our social media will help get the ball rolling for you somewhat also. And, just keep in touch with us and let us know as things progress and new things come up for us to help you with.
No, most definitely. And thanks again. I know I've been in and out, but I'm still, bringing that part. So that's why, I always try to pop in. But, really just us getting that power we need. But I think things like this, showing that we are involved, and that we're not just, protesting, I think in the long run is what is going to help us get to the point where we build that legitimacy that we need. And, labor is such an important function. So, we know we have the whole duopoly, and, I'm not telling anyone on here anything that they don't know. And just to give some more background on the UE, that's one of the things that separates us as well, is that
Hang on, Charles, your microphone's going again. I don't
Okay.
want to. Okay, great. Now go ahead. You're going to tell us about your group.
So yeah, when it comes to politics, we spend very little money, like, on political campaigns, and especially for the duopoly. So we really do our best to glad that to be a part of this, as you lead, but also as someone who supported the Greens in the past, and who still supports the Greens, even though I'm not as active as I like to be. I'm just happy that to show that we are a part of making this change happen. And I say we for a reason, because still green at heart. So no, I'm thankful. I'm honored to be here, and I appreciate y'all.
We appreciate you too, Charles, and definitely appreciate you coming and sharing this with us and letting us get this information out. We got to get out into the community, and we need more hands to do it. And we know you're very involved and appreciate it a lot.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Charles. Thanks for your work.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so are there any final remarks you'd like to say before we end this off? Any other final remarks?
Well, I know my mic is going in and out, so I'll keep it short. Yeah, if you want to get involved, I'll be putting my contact in the Hampton Roads Green Party group. But yeah, my number is 757-842-3000. Email is charlesbrown1987@gmail.com. And on social media, on Facebook, I go by Charles Charcoal Brown. You're not going to really find any other Charles Charcoal Browns on there. So yeah, those are my social media, and I'll post all that. But no, thanks again, and yeah, until we meet again.